Hey there, everybody. Parks Owsley here with Score.gg, joined by Biofrost. Congrats on the 2-0, the bounce back from last week. I know that's got to feel good. So first off, let's just talk about that. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. Last week we went 0-2, which was pretty bad, obviously. Now it's 2-0. I think in the previous splits, we've also had this kind of happen where like we go on like a nice streak, and then I think we were even like first for a little bit, and we went like 0-6 afterwards. So it's about like improving at a steady pace, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, hopefully, if you go on a streak, it'll be the big winning streak. You've already started that now, so maybe it'll continue. But yeah, having that consistency would be nice. But yeah, again, congrats on the 2-0 week. What do you feel like this does for your team? Because I know, there could be like flashbacks and stuff from last year, like an 0-2 start, not again, not again. You had the CLG faith. But so like going forward, is this 2-0 week like, oh, sure, we're here, we're good? Or is it kind of just like, all right, we've stabilized and what is the team kind of thinking?
It's definitely stabilizing because then you're like 2-2. It's kind of like you're going in 0-0 pretty much. And like over the past couple of weeks, we had really abysmal scrim results. So then when we went 0-2, we're like, oh God, this is it. But luckily we went 2-0. I think we have had a lot of improvement just like based off of our scrim games. Like even though we're still losing, we're still like improving on a lot of points. And on stage, it just feels like we're doing a lot of the things right that we've been practicing. And other teams, they just play super scared and they're like, don't really want to do anything. Or they just make like bad choices in the game. So either other teams are playing a lot worse than they normally do, or we're playing a lot better. I think it's a little bit of both.
And yesterday and today, you had kind of a similar like way of winning. A much slower, controlled game. Took a lot of dragons. You had an unkillable Scion. Is that something that you feel like, just right now the team is good at just being calculated, or is it just this weekend? These are the drafts we got. It happened to be that we won them both.
We're LCK now. No, I think it's just because of the way our drafts went. We have a lot of other different drafts. Irene is really good at drilling like the things that we need to know about our comp. And like I remember after yesterday's game, he was like, I'm so disappointed, guys. After we won, right? We were 0-2 the first week, and after we came back, he's like, I'm so disappointed. You guys did all of this wrong. And we're like, okay, we're sorry. We'll do better for today. And I think we did a lot better today because we did have a similar comp, but we weren't like just rolling over and like giving them a lot of advantages. We kind of like pressed them, and they're like, oh, should we fight this actually? And I think that a lot of like fake pressure, we ended up in really good fights for us.
And it's also against Cloud9. And I just think that in and of itself, people, despite the Liquid loss that they had, the rest of their games looked very good. And even the Liquid game actually looked very good. And yeah, the fact that you took them down and they were kind of looking as like number 2 team maybe. So that's definitely, an added benefit. So congratulations on that. I want to talk some about, this year compared to last year. Obviously you have some new staff. Like one new player full-time, and then Wiggly was kind of there with you as well. You're subbing some people in and out. But so this year, like what is something that feels different for you as a player with the organization?
I think it's Irene and Weldon. The coaching staff has made like a huge improvement in just improving our mindset about like just games, and also Weldon is like improving the actual structure of the team and how he wants people to communicate. We also introduced like this new captain thing, and that's like kind of helped shape our team a little bit. And Irene's really good with like the strategic points. It's just that his knowledge is like similar to like a pro player's, and the things that he brings up every time is like, oh, I didn't think about that, and it's like really useful every time.
That's good to hear. So what are some ways that Weldon is kind of steering the team that you feel like are like very necessary things for like this CLG squad and kind of the history that you had last year? Because it was a tough year, and it's kind of hard to like turn, I don't know, re-steer the direction. So what are the things that you feel like you're working on now that are like super necessary that you're glad that you have him on board?
It's just about improving like our communication structure, how people can communicate more efficiently, and having team reviews be more efficient. A lot of times you end up in roundabout conversations. This can depend on like personalities. Darshan is at fault for this, where he just like likes talking a lot, and sometimes our reviews go super long. I think Wiggly is also the same. So Weldon has been helping on like making our reviews more productive, and a lot of this is really necessary because it's about like a marathon. Like over the split, it's not just one scrim or like one day or like 1 week. You have to like improve the process of what you learn, and those like small habits, those small changes in improving the process can make a really big difference.
He also mentioned you were doing 3 sets of scrim blocks sometimes. But still, like try not to overwork all the way, but making sure that you had enough that, you could make the necessary improvements. How has that been, kind of scheduling wise?
I think that's kind of been the meta actually, where people have just been playing more and more scrims every year because they're trying to either catch up or get a lead on the other teams. I think TL scrims like 3 blocks. TSM has been like scrimming 3 blocks, and every team just wants to like play more so that they can improve. The thing about League of Legends is that since there's like a lot of patches, it's about like learning the patch as fast as possible, and sometimes you just need more games. So because of that, everyone's just spamming a crap ton of games, trying to learn the meta, like playing like 5 or 6 games solo queue. It's like a race, pretty much.
So speaking of the patches and stuff, just going to go on a tangent real quick. I don't feel like as much happened this preseason as, in years past. It's very similar to the Worlds patch that we got. And 9.2 finally brought a few more changes. But what is your take on the meta? And do you feel like, are you like hoping for something new? Because I feel like we've seen a lot of the similar champs in the bot lane for a while.
Yeah. I'm actually happy that it's mostly AD carries. Sometimes like a Victor pops up or like a Jace. But I think right now it's pretty healthy in terms of like what's being picked in the bot lane. Me personally, I wish range supports would come back. I think that really tests like people's skill in like laning at least. Melee supports are more like just outside of lane and like your movement, but range supports is like really test your laning skill actually. So that would be nice, kind of see like which supports are good at range supports. And in terms of like overall patch, I'm pretty sure 9.2 should have been the actual like preseason patch. That was like a lot bigger than the preseason patch. I don't know why that was the case, but I don't know. It's just filled with like all these OP champions like Aatrox, like Kali. Like there's so many of these champions that are like really annoying to play against in game, and you feel like you need more than 6 mans. But I kind of like that at the same time because it forces teams to be like, okay, which one is like the least OP and we can actually deal with this and formulate a strategy. So I'm actually curious to see if like a team just doesn't ban anything and just leaves everything up and it's just chaos. That'd be actually really fun to watch. But yeah, I don't think anyone has the balls to do that yet. So
do you at least do that in scrims? Just, no bans, just figure out like what the actual best draft is?
Who knows? Maybe we do it, maybe we don't.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. You don't have to leak any strats that you guys have. So I want to go back. You touched on something earlier about you guys having a team captain, and that's something Weldon talked to me about. So what is that like for you? You've been named team captain. I know it's very new, so you're probably still figuring things out. But what are kind of some of your goals as a player and what you want to accomplish with the team?
It's kind of similar to Shot Caller, I guess. Maybe it's just different names. I don't know. What really changes like in game is I have to be really on top of my stuff like every game. I'm like held accountable. And if I don't like communicate everything in the right way or like I suddenly stop doing it, then someone else is going to have to take that spot in that game. And they haven't been practicing like every day. So it's really bad if like I don't perform up to like whatever standard that I'm holding myself up to. And at least in terms of like team dynamic, we have like a structure of like, okay, someone formulates a play and then like we kind of like group up ideas about it. Like, okay, what information comes in for the play? And I kind of like coordinate that and like make the play happen. And I don't know, it's definitely new. It's nice that we got 2-0 this weekend. So it's like, wow, Vincent's doing stuff. I don't know if I'm doing any stuff, but it's nice.
So you did do that this weekend?
Yeah, I did do that this weekend, and we kind of like practice it this week. Me just having a bigger voice in game, but I think everyone on the team played really well this week.
That's awesome, and I know that that's something too that you at least had talked about from your time at TSM, and when you left that team was like obviously very good mechanical support and, good game knowledge and other things. But the communication and that part of the game, that aspect, was something you really wanted to work on. So I think it's really cool that, now after a really rough year, you've come back and you're like, this is I'm going to make this a big part of me.
Yeah.
Was that part of how does that fit in?
I wasn't like, I want to be captain. No, it was kind of just like thrown upon me like, Vincent, you're doing this. And I think that's something that I guess Tony did that in our first split, but we were like 0-6 for like 3 weeks or something. And I think in this team environment, it's kind of built out of necessity that we need someone to like just coordinate everything in our mid and late game. So I was kind of given that mantle, and it's a lot of pressure for sure, but it's nice at the same time because you improve really, really fast, because any bad decision you make, it's your fault. You need to fix that. So it's definitely really different from TSM, and I like that I was given this opportunity because it allows me to either rise up to the occasion or fail miserably. And so far it's going well, and hopefully we can have like more wins, because that'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, best of luck with that. I'll be checking back in at least. Because I think it's super interesting, and it's a thing that other sports have. Other sports have captains either in or out of game or both. So it's kind of cool. I'd never thought about having that kind of same identity here. Any other things that you want to talk about before we head off?
I don't know. I guess I'm happy that COG fans. I don't know. COG fans are interesting because they're super, super brutal when we lose, and then they're really, really happy when we win. Actually, sometimes not even they're happy. They're like, they could have won harder. But I think every fan is like that, and they want to see the best for their team. So I'm glad that we still have some fans left over after the abysmal last year.
Yeah. Well, congrats again on the bounce back from not only last year, well, maybe too soon for last year, but at least last week. It's really good to get you out here and getting some wins. Best of luck next week and on the rest of the season. And thank you all for watching. We will catch you next time.